Welcome to Bunky's Woodworking. We got a new addition to our shop, a joiner.
Now what I found was while running long boards, I really needed an extra pair of hands in order to operate it. As the board would go through the planer and it would get to a certain point, it would become too heavy and lift off the planer, going bang, where the board would hit the ground and I would have to pick it up and go back over to the other side, push it through, falls on the ground, bang.
So clearly, Tim needed a helping hand. He asked me at first, but I suggested let's go to the drawing board.
And to the drawing board we went.
I have seen people put these roller stands in front of their tools to help them push the long boards. I thought we can make something similar, but with lot more ability to adjust the stand.
Okay, so we had this idea in order to kind of clamp two boards on each side, and that clamping pressure would hold the stand together. And having some belts around the top and bottom attached in a certain way that would allow the top area to slide up and down incrementally more exact than having holes or a slide or a wing nut.
This was just a conceptual and initial drawing process. We had to try it out for ourselves, so we went in the shop. We decided to make this entire project out of scraps lying around the shop.
We started off by cutting three 24-inch boards. Then I took two of those 24-inch boards and put a 45 on one end. Then I took two 15-inch boards, found the center, and started cutting half laps into the board.
Once the grooves for half lap joint are cut, you have to clean up the area with a chisel for a plumb fit.
After cleaning up the area, I did a dry fit before drilling and screwing the boards together. The screw I used ended up going a little bit too far into the hole, so I got out the Dremel tool in order to cut off the end of the screw.
We also decided to put half laps on the vertical stand. So we started measuring things out and started to mark things where we needed to put half laps on the vertical boards.
So I carefully started cutting the marked area out of the board so that the half laps would intersect with the stand. I attempted to clean up the area with the chisel, but soon decided to use the jigsaw in order to clean up the area nice and flush.
Once again, we did a quick dry fit before screwing the boards in. Then we held the boards in position, clamped them down, pre-drilled the holes and screwed them tight.
After screwing everything tight, I went ahead and found some more lumber in order to fit for the top of the stand.
Conceptual drawing on computer is one thing, but you have to make on-the-spot decisions, and that's what we are discussing here.
So we're off the drawing board. I go ahead and cut two 13-inch boards for the top of the stand. After cutting the boards, I go ahead and position it on the top of the stand, and then mark and fasten the boards together. I'm able to lift a hammer, therefore I am Thor.
Now we needed to figure out how we are going to make a smooth rolling surface. So we scoured the shop, finding just the right thing.
Off camera, I found some paint rollers. Then I found a dowel rod to run through them. Now we just had to figure out how to attach it to the stand. So I went ahead and cut a 2x4 about 6 inches, and then I pondered what I was going to do next.
We remembered our drawing and thought of making a V. Tim started ripping a 2x4 in the middle.
Then I positioned the dowel rod in order to make a hole through the V. Then I connected the ripped 2x4s to the stand. I cut holes into the V in order to run the dowel rod.
Once the dowel rod was completely through, Tim had to cut the remainder of the dowel rod. Now it was time to insert the central board into its slot.
I personally think it looks like a mannequin. Aditi feels that it looks like a broomstick.
Tim has a lot of belts that don't hold up his pants anymore, so we decided to use them here.
We clamped the stand together and then wrapped the belt around the area and put a screw through.
The lower belt gets screwed to the central board and travels along with that board.
The upper belt is connected to the two outer boards and is stationary, and it works as a stopper once the lower belt hits the upper belt.
This determines the maximum height of the stand.
It really took two people to hold the belt in place and tight enough around the poles in order to drill it into place. After completing the build, I noticed that it was pretty loose at the bottom, so I went ahead and added a couple more screws for added stability. After a quick cleanup, I went ahead and started setting up for a test run. Strangely enough, as working it up and down, the two belts seemed to work together in order to hold it into place where I almost didn't need a clamp at all. After setting it up, I went ahead and matched the height to the joiner.
This is an initial trial run. We had to adjust the stand's height again.
I am very happy to see that the board didn't fall and hit the floor anymore.
So we readjusted the height of the stand and it seemed to be working just perfectly. It achieves what it intends to do.
It gives me an extra hand in the shop in order to catch a board going out of a table saw or planer or whatever I seem to need. So this is definitely a nice addition to our shop.
That's just the first cut of the board and the quality of cut is already improved. And this is a helping hand, we made it ourselves.
If you like this content, please like and subscribe and check out our social media pages in the links in the description below.